Welcome everyone to another Sony State of Play, which may or may not be continuing some stuff fresh off of a certain other show that happened this very day.
I forgot to check if how long is this supposed to be. Hey, Astro! Oh, so we're talking immediately about the Astro DLC.
Hey guys, you know, Astro Bot just to distract you from everything that's happening around it.
Oh, Helldivers Bot!
Of course, there you are.
Yeah, that is gonna be.
So I hope you guys enjoy Super Mario Galaxy 3.
Yes, but you'd say as if that's a bad thing.
But yeah.
Fine, you online speedrun levels.
But yeah, like Pedro into that, there's a bit of an elephant in the room regarding Astro Bot, but for now, you know, yeah.
Well, not regarding Astro Bot, regarding what Sony's doing. With the PlayStation 5 Pro, as well as the recent review of what happened to Concord. So.
That level looks like it's based off. No, it can't be.
10 new bots to rescue.
But yeah,
oh,
no.
Stellar Blade Bot.
But yeah, no. Astro Bot has definitely been one of Sony's beacons of light and hope, essentially, with just how
Helldivers.
Yeah, Helldivers, of course. I do find it funny that they're showing off what the bots are already. I thought they might have...
Well, only 2 out of 10, so I guess it's a good teaser.
Oh, okay, yeah, they only showed 2. Free add-on, of course.
Oh, 2024. Oh, so it should be... Hey, Nicholas!
Nicholas douche.
And to see how much joy Astro is bringing to homes all around the world.
So,
Team Asobi, thank you so
Team Asobi, congratulations for making one of the most beloved Sony titles in quite some time, because Astro Bot has just been all that in a bag of chips.
It's absolutely... I recently talked to them. It's absolutely wonderful. It's very... It's my game of the year.
It's very packed with charm. If this doesn't get nominated at least in the family category at the Game Awards, I call bullshit. Anyway, what is this?
You better be sure to keep your spark safe and burning.
This looks like almost stop motion. Oh.
It's a VR game.
Recreators of Lost in Random. Okay.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, I remember that. I haven't played myself, but I do like trailers.
That being said, no, I do dig the claymation.
The Paramorman style.
So...
Or Leica Studio Leica.
Stop motion. So yeah, this seems to be a stop motion VR game.
Yeah, they did mention when they announced this that there were going to be VR games as well.
I wonder if it's exclusive VR or it's just, also compatible.
We'll see. Well, so far it seems like it's first person, so probably was made...
Oh, there you go. PS5 or PSVR 2. There you go.
Well,
so,
there you go
first person.
Where are you off?
Oh, never mind. Apparently you also play first person. Huh.
I guess it's a mix. There you go.
And a small flame took a wander down the midnight walk.
That's the title of the game.
Alright, that looks interesting. I'll keep an eye on that.
Wishless now. It looks unique. Moonhood.
Next.
I don't remember when it happened, but I remember how I felt.
Hello?
Father told us to hide when they came to our house.
Is this Resident Evil?
Alright, they could be already have 9.
Is it Silent Hill?
Mother said
No, there are too many military people around.
Yeah.
everyone had
The aesthetic seems to be the one of the RE engine.
Is this meant to be a certain remaster that I've heard about? Oh.
Oh, that's a huge tower there.
I guess not.
I thought they lived under my bed. We were both wrong.
Okay, maybe this is not Resident Evil.
No, definitely doesn't look like it.
No.
It's a Soul Slide.
So are we gonna be seeing a lot of
Yeah.
horror games because we're close to that time of year?
Possible.
I guess.
But something about this seems familiar nonetheless.
I mean, the white monsters remind me of the Spot design.
Hell.
Just hell?
Peace.
Oh, okay. Ahead?
Us. US.
Hell is us. Boy, Watch Dogs got weird.
Yeah, that's the title, I guess. Hell is us.
That certainly looks like a game.
From Rogue Factor and Nakon.
Well, to be fair, they did show quite a bit of gameplay.
Yeah. National bestseller novel. Oh, the Metro third title. This has been in development for a very long time. And yeah, Deep Silver is the publisher.
Yeah, I recall us seeing a few trailers of this back in the day.
Specifically the VR version. I think this is the VR version of the old games.
Their bodies arranged in some sort of ritual.
So what is Metro?
Post-apocalyptic future, where people live in Metro because the underground because the surface is irradiated with nuclear blast.
I've never liked VR games that clearly show you're just a pair of floating hands. I feel like that breaks the immersion.
Hearing things. I feel like I'm losing my mind.
Most of the action is underground edge, but there are sometimes occasions where you have to go outside, and sometimes some of the creature actually lurks underground. Metro Awakening VR, November 7.
Dandy.
Next. Cacao Games, okay.
XL
How did it
games.
feel to learn the truth about the night sky tragedy?
No, this is not a Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
You humans
I was wondering.
fought at each other until the whole world lay in ruins.
Man, this For Honor spin-off is weird.
I was about to say, is this going to be a multiplayer, some sort of multiplayer game by the looks of it, a multiplayer faction?
An MMO, you mean? I don't know. I don't recognize this. Maybe it probably might be.
Seems like we're playing as all these different characters for some reason.
I get the idea it's a case where you can create your character or having the class at the beginning, you know.
Ah, that would be interesting. Online multiplayer
yeah, it seems
requires
there is
PS Plus.
Yeah, I get the idea there is a co-op element to it. Maybe it is an MMO.
Yourself. If you survive this trial,
It doesn't seem like it's a multiplayer game. It seems like a single player game. Yeah, you play as multiple characters, but it doesn't seem like it's a multiplayer one.
They did
Okay,
mention,
Installed my free.
Archage.
they did mention multiplayer in one of the subtexts.
If it's something like, say, World of Warcraft or, you know, Final Fantasy 14, it's a case where the story is very single player outside. Oh, Pal World. It's a single player story, very single player, focused on you outside of the actual dungeon where you go in.
There's been so much a can of worms open regarding Pal World and the team behind it.
It's amazing the fact that the whole, you know, Nintendo lawsuit that they had against this team is still wrong, but at the same time it still doesn't feel right.
I'm like, mind you, I do get it. There are some things that are just blatant copying here and there. Although the angle of which they're going about the suit is a bit weird, but yeah, no, make no mistake, this is one of those cases where Nintendo are
Oh
not
wait,
the
so this
bad
is
guys.
basically confirmed it's coming out on PS5.
Today.
Today, it's out
Thanks
now.
to Pocket Pair for that
I
great
personally
Pal
don't
World,
care
an
about
incredible
Pal
open
World,
game
so
that's
whatever.
launching
I'll
today on the
admit,
PlayStation
I
5
was
console.
kind of interested
We
in
have a
Pal
few
World
more
at first,
games
but I
with
do
breaking
feel
news
like,
today.
you know, having
Starting
actually
with the
experienced it
return
now, I
of
feel like
two
a
beloved
lot of the
RPGs
praise for
from
it
the
comes
original
from,
PlayStation.
oh, these guys are totally showing Nintendo and the Pokemon company
Wait.
how they should
Oh,
do
Lunar!
Pokemon. Oh, snap, Lunar! How old? How
Okay,
long?
Pedro, you need to give a reminder. Who owns this IP?
Game Arts.
Oh, the people behind Grandia, okay.
The Silver Star story complete.
Oh, look at that! It is really cleaned up. What? What's wrong?
It's fine, but I would have preferred the PSP version of the first game, but fine.
Oh, does this mean it also has the working design translation?
Yes.
Oh man.
Well, hold on. Maybe we should
Don't
wait and see if maybe they clean that up, since this is a remastered collection, so we don't know how much.
Unfortunately, this got leaked twice.
Oh yes, the reptiles thing that we've known about for at least.
I'm hoping. Let me put it this way. I'm hoping Jova's right in that we'll get a new translation and a new dub. Because don't get me wrong, I understand that there's a lot of nostalgia for the working designs dub, but it hasn't aged great.
Oh, Sonic. There's Shadow.
Wait! Is this a level based off of the Sonic 3 movie?
Hold on.
What?
Remember the scene in Tokyo from the movie?
It's also Keanu Reeves' voice.
Keanu Reeves is joining
What?
Sonic X Shadow Generations as part of the upcoming Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie plot.
I get the idea.
What?
Scenes from the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie and arrives December 12th.
They actually put it a level based on Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie pack. So we got Keanu Reeves in a flipping Sonic game.
I mean,
remember, they did say that. Remember, they did say that the deluxe. There's
Fantasia. Go on, Pedro. Sorry.
Remember, they did say that there was going to be an extra level at a later point. Maybe this is it? Maybe?
For context, audience, right now we're actually recording Lost Odyssey. You'll be able to see it soon enough, so it's kind of funny to see Sakaguchi again.
Well, would you say this is
I'll definitely get this one eventually on PC.
How would you say this ranks in his outings?
From what I've seen, Java on the gameplay is technically competent. The strong point is the presentation. As in New Dimension. There you go.
We're just over a month away.
Boy, they're kind of going rapid fire with some of these announcements.
Oh, Dragon Age, Eldegard, the game that comes out of Halloween for some reason.
It's interesting because, like, even I, as someone who's never played Dragon Age, even I could tell something was off the moment they showed this for the first time.
Oh boy.
Because
last I checked, Dragon Age's tone and atmosphere is meant to reflect the Tolkien work, isn't it?
Well, yes and no. It's more of a throwback to the early games that BioWare did, the Baldur's Gate game. The problem is that, you know, when the actual Baldur's Gate 3 that was not done by them feels more in-depth and competent and better looking than this, yeah, there are a problem or two.
We need to lure
Also, apparently there's been some development issues with this game because EA is EA and poor BioWare.
And let's be real, again, when we basically track down everything, BioWare hasn't made a good game since what, 10 years?
Also, I get it.
But personally, I think Sonic Chronicles was really underrated.
I get it. Maybe.
Shut up.
Maybe. I get it. You want to maybe try and, you know, make that particular Dragon Age game better. Still, it's now really the time to revisit what is, to my understanding, probably the most disliked Dragon Age game out there.
Come on.
Come on.
That happened.
Bomber.
Force her to land. Second detachment. Flank on the walls. Let's go.
Also, the game's marketing kind of got screwed over because if you didn't know, Game Informer was supposed to do a month-long coverage for it, but GameStop shut them down.
Oh boy. But yeah, no, like Dragon Age Veilguard, it's well, there's no other way to put it.
It's gonna be better looking and functional than Anthem and Mass Effect Andromeda, but that's not saying much.
I guess it's, well, it's hard to say if Dragon Age has had its turn to have, you know, its own Mass Effect Andromeda. Like,
to a lot of people, Dragon Age 2 really wasn't that great compared to the rest of the series.
Now, again, hopefully the marketing is just doing the game dirty, and maybe Veilguard will turn out, you know, to not suck.
Like I said, there's also the weird thing about making it come out on Halloween. The game doesn't have any more horror themes than the previous games. So I have no idea why it's choosing that specific date.
I guess it technically works for Halloween in the sense of like, ooh, a Wizarding World thing, but yeah, other than that, like, I don't get what really demands it be a Halloween step. Like, shoot, maybe you might be better off delaying it for a Christmas release, if anything. I mean, I'd say it's for lack of competition, but October is pretty packed as a month.
Bring that first one down!
I mean, I guess it looks fine, but it's not really something that's for me.
Edge?
I have no experience with BioWare games, to be honest. So I'm
not even Dragon Age.
Yeah, I've never played a single BioWare game.
Not even Mass Effect?
No.
Really? No BioWare game whatsoever. That is a legit surprise to me. How is this trailer doing?
Well, remember, he just told you that he thinks Sonic Chronicles is extremely
I
underrated.
was just BSing because I knew I'd get a reaction out of somebody.
Don't explain the joke, Edge.
This isn't the Bureau's first time in Bright Falls.
Oh, Alan Wake 2, I guess.
The FBC's
yeah, Alan Wake 2 DLC.
A Remedy Entertainment game.
The Lake House.
Yep, Lake House and everything.
Waiting for us in there.
I wonder if it's connecting the dots with Control, because, you know, the base game was even trying to do that, but was only throwing up sporadic references. Okay.
Okay.
The Lake House expansion. October. Oh, okay, just October.
For October 31st.
October 2.
Would it kill you to give a more specific date?
Or
Pretty
VR.
Close.
Oh, it's yeah, Hitman VR.
So whatever happened to IO's 007?
That's a good question. It has been in development for a very long time.
When was it first announced, remind me?
A few years ago. I don't know how many, but quite a few actually now.
I like Hitman, but I don't like it enough to really get a VR game.
A VR game that I would really love to play at some point is Astro Bot Rescue Mission.
Huh. I think it could possibly be done in a way to record it for the channel.
VR games can be recorded, but I don't remember how they need to be connected.
Yeah, the thing about VR games is that they're not exactly recording friendly.
Well, I know that it's
it's
possible,
still possible, but I just don't know the way.
It's possible, but it's not ideal.
Next.
Oh, this is the thing that got leaked. There you go, because I saw the trailer earlier. This was leaked a few months ago in general, but this trailer was leaked earlier today. The Soul Reaver duology remaster or remake.
Okay.
That's because Crystal Dynamics had given and asked a survey, I think 1 year ago, about what to do with the future of a franchise, and I guess this is the result of the feedback. It's technically a small, but it's similar to the Tomb Raider remakes, so technically not too big in scope, and it's using the original game's score and voice acting. That's because also most of the voice cast is either retired or dead, like Tony J.
I think I recall hearing about this series, but I don't recall ever playing it.
The Soul Reaver games in particular are well beloved as action-adventure platformers.
And I know Amy Hennig worked on them.
Again, the voice cast is also impressive because Tony J voices a couple of characters, for example.
Yeah, a good job, but this was Amy Hennig's franchise before she created Uncharted.
Yeah, I can get that feel from it.
Amy Hennig needs a big break, please. Someone get her.
Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remastered arrives December 10th.
December 10th. If I recall correctly, it is multi-plat, so...
Yeah, it's coming to PS5 and PS4, but yeah, it'll probably be coming to the others.
Games from the original PlayStation era also inspired Fear the Spotlight from Blumhouse Games.
This is one of the games that was presented at the Game Awards last year.
But yeah, it does seem like this State of Play is going to be very horror-themed overall.
I mean, it is near October after all. I wouldn't be too surprised if we concluded with something showcasing the Silent Hill 2 remake.
At last, we've returned to our ancestral land, Agaspa.
Build villages and nurture vast ecosystems in Towers of Agasba.
Oh, it looks like we have another farming game.
A peculiar cast
and it's not in a Nintendo Direct.
And also allows you to invite other players to visit your island.
So, Sony, when are you gonna reveal the Switch 2?
I think we already saw this game at some point.
Might when I forgot about it.
It's possible.
Split screen mode to LEGO Fortnite this October. This feature enables friends and family to explore the world and build villages together while playing on the same PS5 or PS4. And in other Fortnite news,
probably for the mode that's mainly just good for idle XP exploits.
Arrives later this year, with pre-orders starting October 3rd. Visit PlayStation blog
Take
for
the
more
high
details.
ground.
Next, it's 1 versus 1,000 in Dynasty Warriors.
Dynasty Warriors. They presented this a couple of months ago.
Let's take a look.
Dynasty Warriors Origins, so we're finally going to get to see the real start of it all.
That's the thing, Jova. There's only so many times that they can retell the story of the Three Kingdoms.
You must adapt to the chaos and find a way to survive. So choose your path wisely. Go forth and learn what it means.
Yeah, they're battling on the Yellow Turban, of course.
This is exactly how it went in history.
Let me put it this way, Jova. The Romance of the Three Kingdoms is the Chinese, literature equivalent of the way he's getting shot or Uncle Ben dying. It has been told and seen so many times.
Yeah, it seems to be China's equivalent to our Wild West, essentially.
And don't get me wrong, it is still a story that's epic in scope and full of interesting characters. It's just that, if you have followed enough stuff like Dynasty Warrior, even the recent Total War game, you know basically all the beats.
Is to see this through.
Oversimplified the talk about the story of the Three Kingdoms too, if I recall correctly.
Dynasty Warriors Origins.
January 17th, 2025. Omega Force is one of the teams at Tecmo, in case you need to know.
Alright, what's next?
I imagined the whole thing. It's burned into my mind.
Oh, Monster Hunter. Okay.
Hey, Capcom.
What's your guys' opinion on Monster Hunter?
What's your team been getting up to?
Honestly, I don't really have a problem with this franchise. It's just that it's something that I would really need to be committed to properly play, and I have so many other stuff to do in the meantime.
My opinion on Monster Hunter is this. It's Capcom's big IP that helps pay the bills so that other IPs can exist, and it's pretty much their avenue to collab with just about anything. I have no issues against it, really.
Remember that this is the 3DS games are the thing that gave Capcom enough money to start rebuilding trust with the consumers, because in that case the players just bought the games, instead of having preconditions about them.
Yeah. It's really crazy that during the quote-unquote Capcom era, this was the only franchise completely unaffected.
That's because the Monster Hunter D started on the PS2. It was a case that until the 3DS it was fairly niche, but as a result the players back then, did not have a problem. Even if the game was not optimal, they would still buy it without a problem. So it was the case also with the 3DS games, and word of mouth spread, about people.
And I'll give Capcom credit for all their issues.
They were also doing some marketing even before that. I distinctly remember the Game Grounds back then had a dedicated series sponsored by Capcom about the Wii U game, the one that was not very popular back then.
I'll give Capcom credit. In spite of all their issues, Monster Hunter is one of those series that they seem to have never really gotten too corporate with, in the sense that, like Tia mentioned, typically Monster Hunter games come out, they're good, no strings attached, like, oh, dumb.
Well, I already told you, Jova, when we commented on the movie, I argue the PSP games are not particularly good, but it was a case where the fan base was just okay with them nonetheless.
Well, I'm talking more so that they don't apply a lot of their not-so-great business practices to the Monster Hunter games. Like, they don't try to monetize stuff, they don't try to nickel and dime us with DLC, it's just, here's a full, complete experience, and hey, here's good enough DLC that feels worth its weight in gold if they do that, at least from my experience in Monster Hunter. But yeah, it seems to be, I guess, their franchise that's safe enough to pay the bills, essentially. Again, collabing with everything under the sun definitely helps. Monster Hunter Wilds.
February 28th.
I should play the last one that came out, because I do have it.
Rise.
Yeah.
You might like it. Guild Knight set.
I did play a demo for like free GE or Ultimate on the Wii U. Oh yeah, it's fine.
So place your bets. What franchises will this game collab with?
Horizon. I feel like Aloy would fit in the Monster Hunter world.
Yeah, she would.
Yeah, she already does do monster hunting. They're not these kinds of monsters, but yeah.
And I really did play most of my playtime of Frontiers. I played as the Monster Hunter costume. It was like, this works.
Yeah, more to be revealed at the Capcom presentation.
Makes sense.
Bye.
Next.
PlayStation Studios. Oh, the Lego Horizon game.
Speak of the devil.
That's coming on Switch.
Remember that it's even on it's done by a different publisher, just for no adequate reason.
Also, Lego games sell the best on Nintendo platforms. So they've basically gone on record saying that.
I would not be surprised if that was essentially Traveler's Tales saying, we're not making this unless you give us a Switch port. But yeah,
I can't believe this is going to be the first Horizon game I ever play.
That's cute.
Will these costumes be available on the Switch version, I wonder?
I wonder.
Come and join the party.
Hey, look! Sackboy being shot at a cannon is a metaphor for something.
Well, let's see if they say.
Oh, I forgot to mention the pre-order.
Okay.
Hi everyone, I'm Kristen Zatani. We are so excited for everyone to get their hands on LEGO Horizon Adventures when it launches on November 14th. And Aloy has more good news on the horizon.
Oh boy, here we go. I think it's now.
Gosh, he really said more good news on the
Aloy's original
horizon.
adventure,
There it is. Wine.
Washed.
No.
Imagine
No.
all the PS3 games you could have remastered instead of these.
I swear, this will only get sillier if that rumor that Days Gone remastered as a thing is also true. Like, Sony, it's a good game, but it's available on the PS4. You know, the system that is already enhanced by playing on the PS5.
This new version
And remember have the accessibility.
It's available, and it's available on
It's released on Halloween too.
It will probably have the accessibility features added in the SH.
My best,
Well, at least I can upgrade for $10, so there's that.
Honestly,
But I thought you could already upgrade the PS4.
They did, but the only
Stellar Blade.
Hey, Stellar Blade,
A
awesome.
new photo mode lets players set up the
update for it.
my take on remasters of this era, well, for games that recent are, you're only doing it for one reason, so you can resell the game new instead of people just getting it used.
original soundtrack featuring
That-
over 180
I'll
songs
still give
from
it
the
credit.
game
At the
is
very least, they
available on
did
select
do have an
streaming
upgrade
services
path for
starting today.
$10, so I can just get it there. But the thing is, here's the other reason as well, Joe. You know, since the whole live service initiative with Concord failed hard, they need.
Oh snap! To me!
Of course.
Sci-fi worlds collide in the Stellar Blade and Nier Automata collaboration, coming to Stellar Blade later this year.
Yeah, basically, remember, because Stellar Blade is very inspired by Nier Automata, so.
Now let's
Yeah.
talk about what's
And
coming.
Nier Automata is crossover with everything. So.
Okay,
First, your
that
monthly
was
game
cool.
subscription
Alright,
to
while we're at it,
2024
monthly games on next
Dead Space
month.
Yeah, let's
Club
see.
Plus. These will be available to
Oh
all
wow,
PlayStation
this
subscribers starting
next
October
month has barely anything.
Also,
Jesus.
Doki Doki, can't you technically get that
yeah,
free
I can
almost
play
then?
continues to grow, with two
The
more
Plus
changes
version
from
is
the original
paid,
PlayStation
though.
arriving later this year. Blood Omen, Legacy of Kain, and
Classic catalog. Oh no, Blood Omen, the original Dino Crisis. Oh, okay.
Naughty
Oh,
Dog
cool.
fans know September.
Hey, look, there's your Dino
We're
Crisis.
celebrating by adding the critically acclaimed.
Well,
That
I'll
Last
take
of
that
Us
over
Part One
nothing.
to the PlayStation
Apparently,
Plus.
that was already in Japan for months, but I don't quote me on that.
Last of Us Part 1, coming to game catalog.
What is this?
Oh.
Oh, they're the symbols of a PlayStation, I guess.
Imagine if that green thing was going to represent us
I'm-
having a look at Final Fantasy VII
Oh, new
Reunion.
controller.
I'm still calling it the X button. I'm sorry, it's too late, guys. I've been calling it that for all my life. You just can't say. Oh, it was actually called the cross. Sorry.
I just stick with calling it the X button as well.
Remember, Jova, even in. Well, actually, no, never mind. Did they say. No, never mind. Never mind, ignore.
It's the PS5 controller with a more glossy finish.
Well, no,
I am.
to be fair, this is just.
White, blue,
regular
and red.
for consoles in general. So.
Yeah, I'm literally holding my ruby red PS5 controller right now. That looks exactly the same.
I want the
Indigo
retro.
Berlin.
I want the
Of
PS1
course, you got a
inspired.
ruby one.
Hi everyone. I'm
Hi,
Mark.
Mark.
We
Hey, Mark.
recently revealed
Okay.
the new
Hi, Mark
Let's
Cerny.
not.
Here to introduce
let's
you.
not.
Pro, alongside
Okay,
several
let's.
games showcasing
I want to say
superior
something.
frame rate
Let's
and
not
improved
throw
graphics
shit at
with the new
Mark
console
for the
exclusive.
price of the Pro because that's
PS5
not up to
Pro,
him.
developed
Yeah,
with to
you've seen the
3D
Simpsons movie. Hi, I'm Tom Hanks. Sony lost all its credibility, so they're using some of mine.
Because Mark is the
developers
head of
closer to
PlayStation's
realizing
hardware
their
division.
vision.
Like he's the our
We're
engineer.
excited for
You know.
players
I
to
would
get their hands on the
like,
PlayStation
as far
5
as I
Pro
know,
when
he
it
doesn't have
launches
say
this
on the
November.
price.
But in the
Anyway,
meantime,
okay,
here's a
Mark,
look at
we
some
know
of
what
the
you're here
games
for,
that are being
really, though.
enhanced for the new
You're here to tell
console,
us about Knack
including
3.
a few titles
Get down to the
already
nitty
for the
gritty.
very first time today.
And again, to his credit, he was a good sport in regards to Knack. Like, he never seemed to really
He
rush.
was actually. He was actually. He even said in the interview, we were thinking of maybe calling it Knack 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Like,
Yeah.
So,
like,
Oh, here's Rebirth.
hey, Rebirth. Yeah,
Again,
Rebirth is-
showcasing about the NAS stuff. So.
Basically, Rebirth on the Pro can be played at maximum settings.
I'll just say this. I'm probably never getting a PS5 Pro on my own. To anyone who has the money for that, good for you. I just do not really feel like I have enough to warrant getting it.
Can the regular PS5 get a price drop then?
Yeah, please.
Also, some footage from the Metal Gear Solid Delta remake we haven't seen yet.
I'm surprised we didn't. I'm surprised we actually didn't get an entry for that itself in this show.
Maybe it's for later. That's maybe the last thing that they're ending with. Probably not.
That could be interesting. Also,
but guys, what about Concord?
What about Concord?
What about Concord? Yeah.
Oh, right. Concord, the game that was outlived by a housefly.
Fucking, what remind me, Pedro, what was the Bethesda game, the arcane game about vampires? Redfall. Redfall lasted more than Concord.
That's sad.
Jesus.
Alright, PlayStation Studios. Please tell me it's Ghost of Tsushima 2.
Please.
Days Gone Remastered.
Yeah, I think it is Ghost of Tsushima 2.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
No, clearly it's Godzilla with that black and white stuff. Yeah,
it's been a long time since Sucker Punch show something.
The edge of Japan.
I'm hanging on to the other side.
See, here's the next big reason to get a PS5 because Ghost of Tsushima is one of my favorite games of all time. And it's just like, okay.
But you are hunting
wolves.
Torgal, no!
And now,
Gene, why are you conversing with a wolf?
is after you.
The wolf will be the next gameplay mechanic.
Maybe you will get a wolf companion.
Still think.
Oh, they went down that route in the story.
There he is. Hi, Gene. Well.
Dead.
Yeah, the music really is going for the spaghetti western just with the shamisen instead of a guitar.
It makes sense since, you know, samurai are the equivalent of essentially cowboys. Or essentially ancient Japan, samurai era being the equivalent of the Wild West.
It's a case of cultural convergence, yeah.
Never,
different ways.
Never forget, we got like a Magnificent Seven and Seven Samurai crossover back in the day. The Red Sun movie with Charles Bronson and I forget what was the name of that famous Japanese actor who showed up.
Toshiro Mifune.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's actually oh, it's her.
Oh, do we play as both of them in this?
I guess you do get a wolf companion.
So where is Jin then?
Well, we saw him in the trailer before. He was the guy with that rod on the horse. Ghost of Yote. There you go.
Oh, Ghost of. Oh, okay. Okay,
There
so it is a. So it's a different. So it's a new protagonist. Okay.
2025, next year.
I could see it. Maybe,
Okay, cool,
maybe
awesome.
it'll end up being a mix of the two.
Okay, yeah, that's an interesting way to go about it. Like, so basically, you're going to create ghosts for each individual region of Japan. That's a pretty cool way to go about it, actually. I dig that.
Oh,
okay, we're
is
done.
that it?
Yeah, that was the one last thing.
All right.
All right. So final thoughts, I suppose. Edge.
It was all right. I'm so confused about the Keanu Reeves Shadow DLC. I'm sorry. I'm like, what?
It's beautiful.
I feel like the movie designs have a rough transition into anything else outside the movies, but that's just me.
I swear to God, I thought you were about to do that joke where the movie designs had a rough transition into 3D.
Nah, I don't go for low-hanging fruit.
Thank God.
What was that RPG remaster that you guys got excited about?
Lunar remaster.
Lunar.
Well, that was me because even Taylor hasn't played Lunar. Only I did.
Okay,
So far, there hasn't been an article yet, so I don't know yet about what we were discussing earlier.
I'll talk about it in my final thoughts. Move on.
I'll see how that goes. Lego Horizon still continues to look hilarious. Alan Wake 2, haven't played that. I should play the first one. Same thing with Ghost of Tsushima. I've been meaning to get around to it, just been distracted with other things.
Ghost of Tsushima is absolutely amazing. It's one of my favorite games of all time.
Oh yeah, the Shredder's Revenge DLC.
It's great that we're adding those characters as well. It doesn't seem like we're adding any new story content necessarily, so I won't be recording that.
Fair enough. I mean, like, I can get why it may not have been the most talked about when it was first shown at that Xbox thing, because...
Well, here's the thing, Joe. Even if I were to record it, it will literally be a 2-minute video. Here's the new characters, and here's how they look and how they move, and that's it.
That's what I was getting.
That's
what I was getting at. It's like, it sort of ties into why, you know, some people were surprised it wasn't as talked about as much. My take is, it's just 2 new playable characters. Don't get me wrong, that's cool and all, but, like, unless they maybe get, like... Actually, no, I don't think they even get special endings based off of who you beat the game with, so... No, it's not like you get a new campaign or something. It's just 2 characters. No. Again, it's cool for people who already own the game.
It's similar to what happened in Streets of Rage 4, Jova. When they added the new characters, the only major thing that was different was the Mr. X Nightmare, but, it wasn't really... If you play as the new characters in the story mode, nothing changed.
And to give it credit, that at least did have people talking, because, it was before we knew what Mr. X's Nightmare would be. Like, a lot of people were speculating new campaign. It's like, and that may just lay into the nature of beat-em-up games. Don't get me wrong. Cool playable characters are neat and all, but there's only so much you can do with the new characters if, like, there's just about nothing else new.
The Shredder's Revenge looks really good, so I'm really looking forward to that one. That Hell Is Us game, that monster design, I'm just thinking, that's the spot. That's just the spot.
I can see the character, not that, it's good.
Yeah. Trying to think what else happens. The Horizon thing I'm so confused about. Because could you technically already upgrade on the PS5?
Yes.
For free?
If you already have the PS4 version, you can upgrade for $10. But if you have the PS4 version and you don't need accessibility features, you might as well just stick to the PS4 version.
Not just that, supposedly this new one seems to have a graphical overhaul. We'll have to see, how that entails.
This game's not even 10 years old.
Yeah.
And, like, again, unless you're going the remake pattern, which they're probably not because they called it a remaster, unless you're, like, making a huge, substantial change that adds on a whole new batch of content, I think we're better off just upgrading with the PS5, which, again, you can do by just inserting the disc into a PS5 one. That's how the backwards compatibility works.
Yeah, basically during the wait for Horizon Forbidden West, there was a delay, and in order to try as an offer of goodwill from Guerrilla Games, they released a patch for Horizon Zero Dawn that allows the game to run at 60 FPS on the PS5.
I think the issue is just that, this isn't like as huge a leap as, say, the PS2 to the PS3. Like, don't get me wrong, the PS5 is definitely an improvement in technology, but enough to warrant, reselling remasters for games that are already backwards compatible. I have my doubts, I'll be honest. Like, at this point, just do a remake.
If God of War 2018 and Days Gone get remasters, I'm calling them washed.
Or even better, if a remaster a game that hasn't been remastered yet, actually could use one.
Here's one, Gary. Yeah, how about you make a remake of the first Killzone? The franchise that you seem to have forgot even on your own website. Yeah.
Man, that Halo Killer era was wild. Oh, and yeah, like I said, I'll get to playing Ghost of Tsushima eventually. Oh, wait. The Stellar Blade Mirror thing. That's a crossover that makes sense.
Also, Dej, you're part of the Sonic fans. What do you think about the Keanu Reeves pack?
I am so confused.
So it seems
also made me realize, yeah, these movie designs really do not fit outside of anywhere except the movies themselves.
Really?
Because I've seen there was an IDW tie-in comic with their designs. Like, yeah, this doesn't really work. Like, this isn't me knocking the movies. It's like, it's just one of those. It's actually hard to make them work in any other medium than the one they were made specifically for. Kind of like if you used to work to get, I guess, the 2007 Optimus Prime design into anything else. It just looks off. Yeah, that's really funny that they were able to afford Keanu Reeves.
Well, you know, I feel like ever since the first Sonic movie, they A, got more confident, and B, have thankfully been on a streak that has been keeping the momentum going overall between the movies, Frontiers, and the franchise in general, you know, having good self-respect for itself, thank God. I'm guessing that, you know, the money's been flowing a lot better now.
But yeah, that's it. Next.
Let me start with the... let me get the remaster of Horizon out of the way. Yeah, it's completely unnecessary. I will give it credit that at the very least it will probably have the accessibility features that we've seen in stuff like Last of Us Part 2 and Marvel Spider-Man 2. So at the very least, this version will be better for certain people, at least. So there is that, but it's like the one thing you will have over it. And I'm pretty sure this could have easily been patched into the already existing version. So even that is as an asterisk on it. I'm surprised the rumored Days Gone remaster didn't show up here.
Maybe it will be another time. Who knows?
I guess. That being said, yeah, I'm at the very least glad that I can just upgrade with a with $10. So at the very least, there's that. I'll take a look at and see how things are. What else? Okay, Monster Hunter Wilds. Yeah, that looks good. It's not my thing, but fine. Yeah, Alan Wake 2 DLC should be great. So cool. Shredder's Revenge, like I said, 2 new characters, really cool. They're fun characters from the 80s show. Great. Not exactly something that you'll be seeing because, like I said, not really worth recording. Oh yeah, new Astro Bot content. That can only be a good thing. So cool. That's what I mean. Like when it comes to the Sonic Shadow Genres, it's gonna respect. Yeah, it looks interesting and cool. Like again, I'm pretty sure this is here mostly for the novelty and everything. And considering it's probably going to be something that's going to be exclusive just to this level, but whatever. I guess we'll see how it works in context. I guess we'll see.
Hey Pedro, what if Keanu Reeves' Shadow is the second character on that screen you were telling me about?
I doubt it, because if that was the case, the website would have been updated by this point.
That's a good point.
Not to mention, if it really, not to mention, they would have made a bigger deal of it if that was the case as well. I'm still well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, as for the Lunar Remastered Collection, okay, it's cool that they give. Okay, obviously they're not going to go with the Mega CD, the Sega CD versions, because those versions are they're still good games, but they're not the definitive way to play those games. So it would have been nice to get a remastered collection that has all versions, but at the same time, I understand that this is probably Game Arts probably wants to just properly preserve what they consider the definitive versions.
Okay, it's mentioned here in one article on PlayStation blog that at least there's an all-new English voice acting cast.
Okay, which basically implies that there's a new translation as well.
Yes, including also German and French, which were on present. So we're basically, retranslating the game from the ground up and adding 2 European languages.
And
so
I'm sure
I guess I was
modder,
probably onto something with that retranslation.
Yeah, Jova got it right. Yes. Okay, I'm glad for that. Then don't get me wrong. I'm not heartless. I also have nostalgia for the Working Designs translation, because for a long time that was the only thing we had. We still, in fact, to give you an idea, Teo, the second game still has only the Working Designs translation.
So with this collection, I take, it will be the first major time it's changed.
Yeah, because when it comes to the original Sega CD and PS1 versions, there hasn't even been an attempt at fan translations. The best we got was a guy who changed because Working Designs. Okay, let me give you a brief history. Working Designs didn't only just translate and dub the games; they also made changes to the gameplay. And to their credit, they did make some really good things. Like, for example, in the Lunar PS1 games, you can control the characters with the analog stick, which made things more comfortable in general, right? A problem that they usually used to have is that they would sometimes make games unnecessarily harder for no reason compared to how they were. Like they would raise enemy stats and everything. So it wasn't even just translated. Sometimes they would just mess with the games themselves. Fortunately, we don't have proper retranslation mods for those, but at the very least, someone did bother to make an unworking designs patch that reverts the gameplay to be exactly like the Japanese version, like the developers intended. So we have that. We have those. I'm wondering what they're going to do with this. If they're going to retranslate, they're probably going to base this on the Japanese versions. So I guess we won't have the stupid changes that Working Designs made. Look, and I want to emphasize something because I know a lot of people grew up with Working Designs. Look, I also appreciate the fact that back in the day where Japanese games like these wouldn't get localized, they were the ones who stepped up and basically were pioneers of that. And I appreciate them for that. But Victor Island's ways of doing that wasn't always the best. Like, to give you an idea, here's an example of a line. In fact, Theo just sent an image that I can use, just to give you an idea of what kind of translations Working Designs used to make back in the day. The line was, "It takes magical power to become a knight." But isn't that kind of strange? Okay. Sounds simple. Here's the Working Designs translation of this line. "Gruel, gruel, the magical soup. The more you slurp, the more you poop." Ha 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 ha. I just made that up. Funny, huh?
In all caps, apparently.
Just to give you an idea of what kind of translation you're dealing with. Well, a lot of times they would just make shit up.
It sounds like okay, so from what I can understand, it sounds like a charming venture that was born out of less than ideal circumstances and lacking communication between the two sides.
Maybe so, Jova, but then you remember that people actually have to pay money for this kind of product, and back then they had no idea, almost zero to no idea how the original really was. So.
Oh, I get it. Yeah. I get it. I'm just trying to make heads or tails of why it turned out like that. My best guess is it was a case of the two teams overseas not communicating the best for the translation. Like, we see a lot of this go on in like earlier bouts of games. Like, nowadays it feels like the communication is a lot more formal on how translations should be handled, essentially.
Okay, let me put it this way. I'm hoping they bring back the actress from Silver Harmony then. But
again, it's mentioned that it's all new, so I don't really count on that.
Okay, so basically, that being said, I don't want to be unfair. For every cherry-picked bad translation line, there are lines that are not so bad. If you play the game on its own and just try to enjoy it and not think about what possible mistranslations are in here, you can still enjoy the original Working Designs releases fine. They still work fine as a perfectly serviceable way of experiencing the games. At the end of the day, they're not ideal, but they're not complete train wrecks, if that's what you're thinking, to be fair. And I'm sure there's already people who are going to take the Steam versions that are going to mod in the Working Designs voices and translations. So I'm sure get it on PC if that's what you want, I guess.
So is it below?
One thing it's beloved because of its nostalgia, Jova. But the thing is, if you actually take the nostalgia goggles and look at it objectively, it's very questionable how it's translated and dubbed. I wish we could have had the PSP version of the first game, because the PSP version, although to be fair, okay, let me rephrase that. If they are going to make a new translation and a new, but then maybe I could, with this new version of the PS1 version of the first game, could become the proper definitive version. Because for as much as I like the PSP version for its new translation and voice actors, it did remove the world map. So I guess I can understand. Because just to give you guys an idea, so the original release of Lunar Surface Star Complete, as well as the sequel, had all voice actors from Working Designs, which were people who were just mostly employees of the company, because remember, this was back in the day where a lot of times employees would voice the games themselves. But the PSP remake had Yuri Lowenthal as the protagonist, Eden Regal as the love interest character. We also had Sam Riegel, Jova, for your delight. Bryce Papenbrook, Eder Hogan, aka the voice of Shiki. We had Michelle Ruff, Travis Willingham, Troy Baker as the villain, Kate Higgins, so on and so forth. So the PSP remake had a stellar. Oh, we had Roger Craig Smith as well. Yeah, I forgot that he was in this. But yeah, the point is the PSP remake on the English dub had a stellar voice cast, which is why, combined with a better translation, it was the definitive way to play the first game. That being said, yeah, if they're going to retranslate the first game again with a new voice cast, maybe this will become the proper definitive way to play the first game. So yeah, definitely I'm gonna keep an eye on this then. That game at the beginning, that game that looks like a stop motion movie, that looks interesting. I'll keep an eye on that.
How about that Dragon Age Veilguard?
It definitely looks like a BioWare game, I guess. But that's it.
The first two Mass Effect games are good, right?
Yes.
From what I've heard, yes.
I can attest to you since I actually played them myself. That yes.
Oh, that other game, that Souls-like game, that was the second thing they showed. That also looked good. The Legacy, the Soul Reaver collection, yeah, that looks really good. So cool. Looking forward to that. But the VR games, I guess they look fine. But again, I don't have a VR. Because the one VR game that I definitely would like to try at some point is Astro Bot Rescue Mission. So, yeah, that looks interesting. Yeah, like I said, I guess I'll keep an eye on that. As for Ghost of Yotei, yeah, it's interesting because I've always wondered what exactly they're going to continue the story of Jin, or they're going to maybe do. No, apparently we have a new protagonist. So yeah, if they're going to have like a ghost for each individual region of Japan, that would be interesting. In fact, I'm wondering too, maybe eventually we'll have a final game where all of the ghosts join forces.
Like David Jaffe wanted all together with God of War. For those who don't know, his plan originally was to have the first game being about Kratos, the second game being about Norse, the equivalent of Norse mythology, the third being about the Egyptian, and lastly, the final scene would have been all three of them being revealed to be the three wise men visiting Jesus in Bethlehem. Again, it's so crazy that they actually wanted to see that happen.
Imagine if God of War gets to that point where it culminates to Kratos just getting into a fist fight with Jesus.
It's just a shame that David Jaffe lost his mind. Oh well.
Yeah.
Go on, Pedro.
Yep. That being said, no. I am absolutely, completely. I mean, I've always liked Sucker Punch a lot. Like I said, I really like the Sly Cooper. I have yet to. I need to get around to finally playing the Infamous games because I've always heard that they're also really good. But Ghost of Tsushima, it was the game that was, if you ask me, their magnum opus, where they really took a lot of what they learned from the previous stuff and really developed what I still genuinely believe to be a genuine masterpiece that excels at literally everything it does. As a big fan of open world games, I absolutely adore what they did with that game. It was done so brilliantly. So Ghost of Tsushima is absolutely wonderful, brilliant. And I recommend it to anybody on either Steam or PS4 or 5. And hell, you don't even need a PlayStation login for the PS4, for the Steam version for that one. So there you go. Ghost of Yotei, yeah, interesting. So we have a new protagonist. Yeah, it says right here, to create something fresh or familiar, we look beyond Jin Sakai's story and then we shifted our focus to the idea of the ghost instead. So basically, yeah, and they said they love origin story. So basically, we have a new ghost now. Okay. So this woman is the new ghost. So it should
that's
be interesting.
because it's set 300 years after the event, so Jin couldn't have been the guy at the bonfire to begin with.
Okay. All right. So there you go then.
That's the thing, Jova. Okay, maybe the DLC actually does that, but the base game basically does the Uncharted 3 thing of saying that everything supernatural is mostly just hallucinations.
Yeah, the DLC does that too. I can tell you that.
Okay.
To be
I
fair,
was
we have the
mostly
multiplayer
joking with
expansion.
that. Granted. Oh.
To be fair, we have the multiplayer expansion if you want more supernatural stuff.
Oh, I know. It's just that, again, like you said, it possibly would have helped with the enemy variety, maybe. I
guess, sure. Well, to be fair, like considering the setting and what they want to convey, obviously it would always have to be samurai enemies. You know, like I feel like.
Anyway, but again.
No, but Ghost of Yotei is automatically, of course, like now my most anticipated game. For the PS5, like I said, like Ghost of Tsushima, that game is so good, it's worth buying a console for. I'm not even joking when I tell you that. And I'm sure, and if Ghost of Yotei is on the same level as Tsushima, it will also be so good that it makes it worth buying a PS5 for. So definitely, I'm super excited for Ghost of Yotei. Day one. Like right there, not even kidding. That's it. Like, yeah, definitely the highlights. I wish we could have gotten more first-party things.
Yeah, where's Wolverine?
Yeah, what the hell is Wolverine?
That game was announced in 2021. And
I've seen recently. That's also the thing. Like, I was expecting Spider-Man 2 to receive a DLC at this point, but I've seen a review recently, and the speculation generally is that because the game was kind of, sort of, partially rewritten before the finishing line, that's also one of the things that Insomniac got told is that they have to wait or potentially not even do DLC expansions to that. Combined also with the multiplayer games that was cancelled, that we know from the data leak, it's possible that they are now basically focusing on deciding what to do next.
But again, it is weird that they can't show much of anything. And I have to also wonder, what the hell is Blue Point doing?
Supposedly they have a new game,
I know, but the Demon's Souls remake came out in 2020. Remember, it was a launch game for the PS5. It's been 4 years now. Are you telling me that you don't have anything you can show us yet?
Apparently, but again, it's been a showcase with both technically Spider-Man 2 and even Ghost of Yotei in this case, and especially also Concord. Now the biggest problem Sony is facing is that in order to deliver this kind of quality with these products, they need to be overinflated with the budget, and they take years upon years of development. Which, sure, I get the idea of why making them, more memorable, but I get the idea that, it's not a sustainable, long-term business, as showcased by Concord as well, for example.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure Ghost of Yotei would be, perfectly functional and a beautiful experience to have, but let's not forget it took years upon years of development to get there. Sucker Punch used to make one game per year almost.
I think Sony's saying is that
explains how the problem of how much gaming has gotten too expensive and how they're trying to push the technology. And I think,
keep in mind, there's words going out that Concord cost like hundreds of millions of dollars to make.
400.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly 400, but even still, gigantic amount of money packed into a game that, I won't go into how it looks, that's been beaten to death, but all the same, all that money, game didn't even last a full 2 weeks, essentially. And look at Spider-Man. The great game, but the budget was so big that they barely considered it a success. And what has been one constant? Because of the lost money, they've had to eventually just port it to PC to make back some more costs, essentially.
Well, that was in plans all along, Joe. The whole PC port thing has been a program for a while, and that's maybe the cost is a thing, reason, but it's only a speculation. Mostly it has been, in order to, game ports. But again, we're kind of going off track.
Go on, Jova, then.
This was a good state of play. I mean, I'll admit, I tend to be relatively hard on these, but no, this one was just good, fine, and fun, essentially. I have good hopes for the Lunar Remastered Collection, essentially. It looks like my theory is coming to fruition with that. Dragon Age Veilguard! Good luck? Like, the fans don't seem all too stoked for that. I admit, I'm not the biggest Dragon Age fan, but I'm aware that the series has been going through a rough patch, essentially, so whether this will make or break things, who knows? Like, the sad thing is, EA have actually been one of the companies who have remembered, hey, there's money in the single-player market with their Star Wars games, so I'll give them credit there, but who knows if maybe that's just a special case with that specific team and not EA in general. Ghost of Yotai. Well, obviously, a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima was an inevitability, essentially. While we didn't get to see too much of the gameplay, if it's anything like Ghost of Tsushima, but expanded, chances are it's going to be yet another fun time, essentially. So, I don't really have any reason to doubt that that game will be good. Still, it is good that they showed us gameplay footage, I do prefer that. Speaking of gameplay footage we saw, yeah, this was a very horror-themed, state of play. Like, there's a few things we haven't really mentioned amongst the group of us. A lot of the horror games, like that first-person VR game, or,
Hell is US.
Yeah, Hell is Us, which, yeah, looks like it's Watch Dogs, because the guy is dressed like a Watch Dogs protagonist with a cloak on, essentially. And I guess he's got a beam or something he hits monsters with. I won't say that they look bad. They are just mainly not my thing, essentially. But I will say this, I don't get the big grabbing point of Hell is Us, except for it being, I guess, horror? I don't know. The Sonic X Shadow Generation stuff was nice, essentially. It's a good continuation off of what we've seen from the Sonic Central earlier today. We may or may not be covering that. I can't really say that there was anything bad about this state of play. Monster Hunter, yeah, it looks like that's gonna be the typical cash load of success for Capcom. And, not even in a bad way. The game looks like it does what Monster Hunter needs to do. Provide the player with a big, roaming world, essentially, with plenty of douchebag monsters to fight, essentially. What more could you ask for? Can't remember if I'm forgetting anything else. I think that more or less covers it. Well, the point is, it was a good state of play. Tio.
I guess I'll conclude. This was okay. Not the most exciting state of play, if I to be honest, but it was still solid enough. I have to admit, I wasn't expecting news about the Astro Bot free DLC, right now. I thought they were going to save it for a case like it's showcased at the Game Awards, and they do it. It's out now because they said it was supposed to be released this year, and it's still gonna, It mentions about 10 new bots, and we already saw 2, Stellar Blade and Helldivers. We know from the credits of the original game that there are a bunch of third-party ones, but doing a bit of a math, I think they exceed that amount. So I get the idea we're going to see more content possibly next year. We'll have to see if that happens or not. Fingers crossed, because more Astro Bot is always welcomed. Hell is US. Again, as I mentioned in the trailer, it kept reminding me of something else. There seems a bit of Nier Automata, a bit of Remnant from the Ashes, a bit from Watch Dogs Legion, It doesn't seem to be particularly harmful, but it's just there. It doesn't tell me too much, Like I said, just harmless. The Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remastered, like I said, this was leaked a while ago in tablet format, and the trailer got leaked earlier today. It was literally the same. People speculated it was AI generated, but no, it actually the same. And it seems they did the exact same thing that they did for the Tomb Raider trilogy, so pretty good. The fact that they're also releasing the first game, Blood Omen, for the PlayStation, classic catalog also helps, specifically for PlayStation, and the game is technically available on PC now thanks to GOG. So if you actually are there, you want to play the game, legitimately, you can purchase it there if you want. Thanks, Poland. But next, the Tower of Agasba. It looks alright, but it doesn't seem to be, something that I would play personally. Again, the usual typical argument for farming games. Fantasian, like I said, it does look just the part because of the whole presentation from Mistwalker. I can't wait to see actually this version has new content. I'm glad that at least it's pushed for a proper release, and it's the extra irony that is Square Enix publishing it. So again, family reunion of sorts. I always wanted to give a try to the Lunar games. And with this release, I guess I have no real excuse to not to do so. Especially, because they seem to be, whoever is handling the project seems to be actually, bothering to properly do their job this time around. So again, I appreciate that. I gave a look at what they did for Grandia, the Grandia game so far, when it came to Game Arts allowing release, and so far it has been done a decent enough job. So, I appreciate that. Dynasty Warriors Origins. Like I said I think I mentioned when he showed up first. It's Dynasty Warriors. It's clear that they're trying to spice new things up by having a central protagonist, reliving the story of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms and meeting all the other, characters like Cao Cao, Liu Bei, and so on. We'll have to see really how it turns out. Dynasty Warriors live and die by the enemy voice acting, and usually how many people can you kill at the same time on screen. So we'll have to see on that. Monster Hunter Wilds, same opinion as it showed up in the other trailer, in other state of plays and similar presentations. It's Monster Hunter. You really cannot go wrong. I know that people have been criticizing apparently some of the character designs for this one, for the human characters, but I don't think there's really too much of a problem for this one. The Horizon Zero Dawn remaster. Again, I said all that I did for the actual, presentation. This felt unnecessary. Like if it's for accessibility, reasons, I'm pretty sure you can patch them in for the existing version. If it's for the graphical overall, I really question what the point is, because again, the game is less than 10 years, and there have been countless games in the Sony catalog. Some that did showed up in Astro Bot, some that the CEO of Sony apparently claims that they do not exist, that could have easily, benefit this treatment, but apparently no, this was a better priority. Like, I really don't see the need. The fact that at least it's a $10, upgrade for existing user, at the very least a consolation price, but it feels almost nothing, if I have to be honest. It's still at the end of the day pointless, if you ask me. We'll have to see if that happens also for Days Gone. Lastly, I don't remember if there was that much else, so let me conclude with Ghost of Yotei. Sorry. Again, pretty interesting. We'll have to see how it plays out. But the thing that I'm looking most, like I mentioned multiple times, is an expanded enemy variety, because that was one of the biggest problems of the original game, that the fact that you had only a few selected Mongolian enemies, and occasionally their battle dogs, instead of actually potentially fighting maybe the wildlife of Japan, potentially. We'll have to see if this improves, or stays the same. But I'm confident, because of the PS5 also hardware, they're gonna, expand things around. We'll have to see. But again, that's what I was expecting to begin with, because I had no real reason to believe a sequel would have been less. That being said, I still stand on the point that I mentioned before. I really really hope that in the future, you know, while I appreciate some, not all, but some of these games, you know, that have been presented not just today, but even in the past previously, I really hope that Sony takes the lesson from Astro Bot, that, you know, you don't have to pump the graphical fidelity and you have to focus on what the hardware is capable of with a more humble type of budget and scope, you know, for the sake of, you know, creating new content even, you know, or revisit the past that they have. Only the future can tell that. We'll have to see. For the time being, that's all. So stay tuned for the next State of Play. Yeah.
Take care.